Lilith, the name itself seems to carry whispers from ancient times. It speaks of shadows and untold stories. She is a figure veiled in layers of mystery. Her tale is not straightforward, not easily found in common books. It is more like a puzzle with many pieces scattered. Some pieces might be missing entirely. Or perhaps they are deliberately hidden from plain sight. Lilith invites us to look beyond the familiar. She challenges us to question what we think we know. Her presence is often felt even when her name is not spoken aloud, a silent echo in the corridors of history. Why does such profound mystery surround her? Unlike many figures from ancient texts, Lilith is not a household name. She often exists on the very edges of well-known narratives. We find her tucked away in ancient scrolls in forgotten folklore. This very obscurity makes her exceptionally intriguing to many. People are drawn to what is concealed. They want to uncover what has been overlooked or left unsaid. Her elusiveness only fuels our collective curiosity. She represents a hidden chapter, a path less trodden in the vast landscape of ancient tales. What truths or what questions does her name truly hold for us? The mere mention of Lilith can ignite passionate debate. Who was she in reality? Was she a terrifying demoness haunting the lonely hours of the night? Or could she have been the very first woman created alongside Adam? Some traditions paint her as a powerful symbol of rebellion and fierce independence. Others see her as a dark goddess ruling over unseen realms. These are not questions with simple, definitive answers. The search for Lilith, for her authentic story, continues to this day. Her identity remains a subject of intense discussion and varied interpretation across cultures. Our journey into the world of Lilith begins now. We will attempt to navigate these deep mysteries together. We will carefully examine ancient writings that mention her name. We will consider the diverse beliefs and interpretations that have formed around her. The ultimate goal is to understand Lilith more fully, to see the many different faces she has shown throughout history. We aim to unveil this enduring enigma, one piece at a time. Are you prepared to step into the shadows and explore the story of Lilith? The path ahead is fascinating. Lilith is not a character born from modern imagination. Her origins are ancient, her roots running deep into the soil of early civilizations. They stretch back thousands of years into the heart of Mesopotamia. We can find traces of beings like her in the myths of Sumer and Babylon. There she might have been known by different names, her form slightly altered. Yet the essence often remained strikingly similar. She was frequently depicted as a potent, often feared female spirit or entity. These beings were said to inhabit desolate places, the wild, untamed edges of the world. Perhaps the most widely discussed and often controversial connection is to Adam. Certain traditions and folklore claim Lilith was his very first wife, created before Eve as his equal. This particular narrative is notably absent from the canonical Book of Genesis. It emerges prominently in later Jewish folklore, especially within the medieval text known as the Alphabet of Ben Sira. This text portrays Lilith as fiercely independent. She was unwilling to submit to Adam's dominance. Her story here becomes one of defiance, a powerful assertion of her own will. This compelling idea of a first rebellious woman has captured human imagination for centuries. It continues to fascinate and provoke thought. Did she truly demand equality in that primordial garden? Was her departure from Eden an act of profound self-assertion, a refusal to be subservient? Such interpretations resonate deeply with many individuals today. They particularly appeal to those who question traditional power structures and narratives. In this light, Lilith transforms into a potent symbol, a symbol of unspoken histories, of voices that may have been deliberately suppressed or forgotten over time. However, the story of Lilith is far from simple or singular. Not all ancient traditions view her in this rebellious, independent light. Some very old texts describe Lilith or Lilin as dangerous night demons. These beings were believed to prey on vulnerable newborn infants. They were also said to trouble men in their sleep, bringing nightmares and unease. These are significantly darker, more malevolent portrayals of Lilith. They depict a fearsome entity, one to be avoided and protected against. How do these vastly different images and stories connect? This very complexity is a crucial part of her enduring puzzle. So the fundamental question remains, did Lilith truly exist as a person? This inquiry is absolutely central to her pervasive mystery. Was she a historical figure walking the earth in ancient times, or is she a purely mythological being born from human imagination and fear? The answer, frustratingly perhaps, depends heavily on how one defines existence. It also depends on which specific texts and traditions one chooses to consult. There's no single, universally accepted truth about Lilith. This inherent ambiguity is in many ways a significant part of her enduring power and fascination. For many people today, Lilith's existence is primarily symbolic. She represents powerful concepts and archetypes. She embodies independence, the untamed feminine spirit, and the shadow self. In this symbolic sense, she is profoundly real and relevant. Her story, in its various forms, speaks to deep and universal human experiences. It reflects ongoing struggles for personal freedom and autonomy. It also mirrors our attempts to understand the complex, sometimes contradictory, aspects of our own human nature. She lives on vividly in the stories we continue to tell and retell about her. Scholars and theologians around the world continue their debates. They meticulously examine ancient languages for clues. They scrutinize fragile fragments of ancient texts. They carefully compare myths and legends across different cultures. Each new discovery, each fresh interpretation adds another intricate layer to her story. Sometimes a new finding might clarify one small aspect of her persona. More often, however, it tends to deepen the overall mystery that surrounds her. The dedicated search for the real Lilith is a persistent and fascinating academic and historical pursuit. It continues to yield new questions. This compelling quest for Lilith is not confined to academia. It touches deeply on matters of faith, personal identity, and artistic expression. Lilith serves as a powerful muse for contemporary artists, writers, and critical thinkers. She consistently challenges us to look beyond the surface of things. She encourages us to explore what is hidden, what is unconventional. She compels us to question accepted norms and established narratives. Her enduring enigma invites us all towards a deeper, more nuanced understanding. An understanding of our shared past and, perhaps more importantly, of ourselves. The story of Lilith does not begin neatly with the ancient scriptures we know best. Her origins are far older, her whispers echoing from even deeper wells of time. We must journey back further to the lands of ancient Mesopotamia. Here, in the cultures of Sumer, Akkad, and Babylon, similar figures stirred in the shadows of belief. These civilizations teemed with spirits and demons, many of them female. They were entities of the night, beings of the wild, untamed places. These early conceptions laid a groundwork of fertile soil from which figures like Lilith could later emerge and take more definite shape, influencing subsequent traditions. In Mesopotamian lore, we find specific entities that share striking resemblances with the later Lilith. There were the Lilitu, a class of wind spirits, often female and sometimes winged. We also hear of Ardat Lili, a demoness who was said to prey upon men. Another fearsome figure was Lamashtu, a monstrous goddess or demoness who threatened women during childbirth. She was also known to snatch newborn infants. These beings represented the dangerous, chaotic aspects of the world. They embodied untamed nature, the perils of the night, and the vulnerability of human life, especially in its earliest stages. Their stories were cautionary tales. How did these ancient beliefs travel and transform? The ancient Near East was a crossroads of cultures. Ideas, myths, and legends flowed freely between civilizations. They were carried by traders, by migrating peoples, by conquering armies. The stories of these night spirits and dangerous female demons were persistent. They held a powerful grip on the human imagination, addressing primal fears and anxieties. These narratives were adaptable, capable of shifting form as they moved from one culture to another. They retained their core essence while taking on new names and attributes, reflecting the concerns of each society. Gradually, these various strands of belief began to coalesce. The fears associated with these disparate female spirits started to find a more focused identity. The name Lilith, or variations of it, began to appear. It seemed to capture and consolidate these ancient anxieties about the wild feminine and the perils of the dark. This process was not sudden, but a slow evolution of mythological thought. This ancient pre-biblical understanding of Lilith as a creature of the desolate and the dark forms a crucial backdrop. It sets the stage for her fleeting yet significant appearance within the pages of the Hebrew Bible itself, a testament to her enduring presence. Within the vast collection of texts that form the Hebrew Bible, Lilith makes a singular, almost ghostly appearance. She is not a central character. She does not engage in dialogues or drive major narratives. Instead, her name surfaces just once. This solitary mention is found in the book of Isaiah, specifically in chapter 34, verse 14. For those searching for Lilith in mainstream biblical accounts, this is the primary and indeed only direct reference point. Its rarity makes it all the more intriguing. It sparks questions about why she is there at all and what her presence signifies. The verse in Isaiah 34:14 appears within a prophecy of utter desolation. The prophet describes the land of Edom, an enemy of ancient Israel, as a cursed and abandoned wasteland. It is a place where civilization has collapsed and wild, eerie creatures will make their home. The passage lists various animals and spirits that will inhabit this ruined landscape. Wild cats shall meet with hyenas, the text reads, and goat demons shall call to each other. There too shall the Lilith repose and find for herself a place of rest. Here Lilith is named among these denizens of destruction and chaos, a solitary figure in a desolate scene. The Hebrew word used in this verse is Lilith. Scholars have explored its etymological roots. Many connect it to the Hebrew word Layla, Elil, which means night. This connection immediately links Lilith to darkness, to nocturnal activities, and to things that shun the light of day. Bible translations have handled this word in various ways over the centuries. Some opt for a descriptive term like night creature, night monster, or night hag. Others, perhaps thinking of a bird of ill omen, translate it as screech owl. Increasingly, modern translations choose to transliterate the Hebrew word directly, rendering it as Lilith, acknowledging her specific identity. The significance of this single mention is therefore quite nuanced. While brief, it undeniably anchors Lilith by name within a scriptural context. It suggests that a figure known as Lilith, associated with the night, desolation, and wild, untamed places, was part of the imaginative and spiritual landscape of ancient Israelite thought. Her inclusion in Isaiah's prophecy, however marginal, indicates that she was a recognizable entity, perhaps drawing from those older Mesopotamian beliefs about night spirits. This verse serves as a tiny yet potent seed from which much later and more elaborate legends about Lilith would eventually grow and flourish. The debate surrounding this solitary verse in Isaiah is considerable. Is one fleeting mention enough to establish Lilith as a truly significant biblical figure? Or is she simply one more name in a list of desert creatures, a minor detail in a larger prophecy of doom? For some, the minimal nature of the evidence suggests she was not a major concern for the biblical writers. Her presence is noted but not elaborated upon, unlike other, more central spiritual entities or adversaries. This perspective emphasizes her marginality within the biblical canon itself, a faint echo rather than a resonant voice. Yet this single verse became a crucial seed for later, much more elaborate traditions. The power of a name appearing in sacred scripture, even once, should not be underestimated. It provided an anchor, a point of scriptural reference, however small. Later, Jewish mystical and folkloric traditions, particularly those that blossomed in the medieval period, seized upon this tiny reference. They wove intricate narratives around her, expanding far beyond what Isaiah offered. The biblical mention, sparse as it was, gave these later storytellers a legitimate, albeit slender, thread to connect their evolving Lilith figure back to ancient sacred texts. Consider the implications of her specific placement within Isaiah's prophecy. Lilith is found in a land that has been cursed, a place where divine order has seemingly withdrawn, replaced by chaos and wildness. This reinforces the themes consistently associated with her untamed nature, otherness, and existence outside the bounds of structured society or divine blessing. She dwells where humans do not or cannot thrive. The desolation is her sanctuary, her place of rest. This imagery contributes to her later characterization as a figure who rejects established norms and chooses a path of solitary, often feared independence from conventional structures. Ultimately, the Hebrew Bible itself offers no detailed backstory for Lilith. It does not explain who she is, where she came from before appearing in Edom's ruins, or what her ultimate fate might be. This very absence created a compelling void. It was a space of unanswered questions and tantalizing mystery, human imagination, theological speculation, and the rich currents of folklore rushed in to fill this narrative vacuum over the subsequent centuries. The biblical mention of Lilith, therefore, is not an endpoint in her story. Instead, it is a crucial, though enigmatic, starting point for a much larger and continuously unfolding saga. After her fleeting appearance in the book of Isaiah, Lilith's story did not simply fade into obscurity. Instead, it began to grow and transform within post-biblical Jewish thought. The single verse acted like a seed planted in fertile ground. Over many centuries, new texts and rich oral traditions started to explore her character more deeply. They asked questions the Bible did not answer. Who was she truly? And what was her real connection to humanity's beginnings? These inquiries led to the development of narratives far more detailed and dramatic than Isaiah's brief mention. Lilith was slowly stepping out from the desolate wastelands. One of the most significant and influential texts in this evolution is the alphabet of Ben Sira. This work is a medieval Jewish text, likely dating from the 8th to 10th centuries. It is not considered sacred scripture like the Bible or Talmud. It is more akin to folklore, satire, and commentary. Yet it contains the first known full articulation of Lilith as Adam's first wife. This narrative presents a strikingly different Lilith. She was created from the earth just as Adam was. Therefore, she saw herself as his equal in every respect. This claim of equality became the very heart of her story. According to the alphabet of Ben Sira, conflict arose quickly in Eden. Lilith refused to lie beneath Adam during their intimate relations. She famously declared, "Why should I lie beneath you? I also was made from dust, and therefore I am your equal." When Adam attempted to compel her obedience through force, Lilith reacted dramatically. She uttered the ineffable name of God, a sacred and powerful act. This gave her the power to grow wings and fly away from Adam and from the Garden of Eden. Her departure was an act of profound defiance, a rejection of subordination. This portrayal of Lilith as the rebellious first woman became incredibly influential. It resonated through Jewish folklore and mysticism for centuries. It offered a powerful alternative to the traditional story of Eve. Here was a woman who chose exile rather than submission. This image starkly contrasted with the shadowy night creature of Isaiah. It also differed from the demonic figures found in some other texts. The Lilith of Ben Sira was a being of agency and fierce independence. Her story introduced complex themes of power, equality, and freedom into her evolving legend. The ramifications of this narrative continue to be explored even today. Section 2: Night Terrors and Ancient Warnings. Lilith in the Talmud. The Talmud is a vast and central text in Judaism. It is a compendium of rabbinic discussions on Jewish law, ethics, customs, and history. Compiled between the 3rd and 8th centuries CE, it represents years of scholarly debate and interpretation. Within its many volumes, amongst legal discussions and moral tales, we also find references to spirits, demons, and angels. The ancient world was full of such beliefs. The Talmudic sages, while focused on law and covenant, also acknowledged these less tangible aspects of existence. Lilith finds her place among these discussions, often linked to the realm of the demonic and the uncanny. In various Talmudic passages, Lilith is indeed described as a demonic entity. She is often depicted with characteristics that echo ancient Near Eastern night spirits. These descriptions sometimes include long, flowing hair, a wild and untamed appearance. Sometimes she is mentioned as having wings, connecting her to the Lilitu wind spirits of Mesopotamia. The Talmudic Lilith is a creature of the night. She is considered a particular danger to individuals who are vulnerable. This includes men who sleep alone in a house. It also includes newborn infants, especially male babies before their circumcision, and their mothers. These beliefs led to various folk practices and protective measures. For example, incantations or amulets might be used to ward off Lilith and her harmful influence. Some passages in the Talmud mention specific demonic figures by name, and Lilith is among them. The fear was that she could harm or even kill infants in their sleep. She was also thought to be responsible for nocturnal emissions in men, seducing them in their dreams. These portrayals highlight a Lilith who embodies primal fears. She represents the dangers that lurk in the darkness, the threats to life and purity. This is a far cry from a partner in creation. The Talmudic portrayal of Lilith thus reinforces and expands upon her connection to the night and to peril. It builds on the demonic aspect hinted at in Isaiah's solitary verse. It cements her reputation in rabbinic tradition as a fearsome, malevolent entity. While the alphabet of Ben Sira, a later text, would offer a different perspective, the Talmudic image of Lilith as a dangerous night demon remained potent. This understanding of Lilith as a source of threat and a figure to be guarded against became deeply embedded in Jewish folklore and popular belief for many generations, influencing cultural practices and anxieties. Section 3, Cosmic Consort and Gnostic Whispers, Kabbalah's Lilith. Jewish mysticism, known as Kabbalah, offers yet another, even more complex layer to the understanding of Lilith. Kabbalah, which flourished particularly in medieval Spain and later in Safed, delves into the esoteric dimensions of Jewish thought. Kabbalistic texts, most famously the Zohar, seek to uncover the hidden meanings within the Torah and the nature of the divine. These mystical writings explore a vast cosmology. This cosmology includes divine emanations, angelic hierarchies, and their shadowy counterparts. Within this intricate system, Lilith is transformed from a mere night demon into a significant cosmic figure, a powerful entity with a defined role. In many Kabbalistic texts, Lilith is elevated to a position of considerable dark power. She is often depicted as the consort or queen of Samael. Samael is a major demonic figure in Jewish lore, sometimes equated with Satan or seen as the angel of death. Together, Lilith and Samael rule over the Sitra Achra, the other side. This is the realm of impurity, the shadow opposite of divine holiness. Lilith becomes a dark feminine archetype, a counterforce to the Shekinah, which represents God's immanent presence and the holy feminine in Kabbalah. This cosmic drama plays out on a spiritual plane. As the queen of demons, Lilith commands legions of lesser spirits. She is associated with temptation, with the allure of the forbidden, and with the forces that draw humanity away from the divine. Some Kabbalistic texts even suggest a complex relationship between Lilith and God, or between Lilith and humanity's spiritual fate. Her power is immense, and her influence is seen as a fundamental aspect of the cosmic balance between good and evil, purity and impurity. This portrayal is far more nuanced than that of a simple night hag. She is a formidable adversary in the spiritual landscape, a necessary part of creation's hidden structure. While Gnostic writings from the early centuries CE are distinct from Kabbalah, they share some thematic resonances. Gnosticism, with its dualistic worldview, often featured a lesser, flawed creator god, the demiurge. It also revered secret knowledge, gnosis, as the path to salvation. Some Gnostic texts re-evaluated biblical figures, sometimes valorizing those who opposed the demiurge. Figures like Sophia, wisdom, a divine feminine emanation who falls into darkness or error, offer conceptual parallels to Lilith's exile or her association with the other side. Both traditions explore powerful feminine figures existing outside or in opposition to the conventional divine order, challenging established narratives of creation and authority. Section 1, Echoes Across Ancient Lands, Lilith's Mesopotamian Roots Revisited. Lilith's story did not begin in a vacuum. Her earliest whispers come from ancient Mesopotamia, a land of fertile myths. Figures like the Lilitu, Ardat Lili, and the fearsome Lamashtu haunted this ancient world. These female spirits were often associated with desolate winds and the untamed night. They embodied primal fears, particularly concerning the vulnerability of new life and the mysteries of darkness. These were not just abstract concepts, they were tangible anxieties woven into the fabric of daily belief and understanding. Their stories served as warnings and explanations for the unpredictable perils of existence. Common themes connect these Mesopotamian entities. They were often depicted as winged beings, capable of swift, unseen movement. Their preferred domains were wild, uninhabited places, far from the order of human settlements. A predatory nature was a key characteristic. They were frequently described as threatening men, especially those sleeping alone. They were also notoriously dangerous to pregnant women and newborn infants. These ancient fears of the unseen and the uncontrollable found expression in these powerful, often malevolent female figures. Their presence underscored the fragility of life in a world filled with unseen forces. The ancient Near East was a vibrant crossroads of cultures. Ideas, stories, and beliefs flowed between civilizations like rivers. The compelling narratives of these Mesopotamian night spirits undoubtedly traveled. They would have been carried by merchants, scholars, and migrating peoples. These tales likely reached the Levant, the land where the traditions of the Hebrew Bible took shape. The single enigmatic mention of Lilith in the book of Isaiah might therefore reflect this wider cultural awareness. She was perhaps a known, if vaguely defined, entity in the popular imagination of the time, a familiar echo. Understanding these deep Mesopotamian roots is absolutely essential. It helps us appreciate the complex evolution of Lilith's character. She was not a sudden invention. Instead, she emerged slowly, drawing from a rich and ancient tapestry of Near Eastern beliefs about the spirit world. These early conceptions of dangerous, wild, female spirits laid a crucial foundation. They provided the raw material from which the later, more developed legends of Lilith would be crafted. Her journey through myth began in these ancient lands, shaped by their unique fears and their vivid imaginations. As we move from Mesopotamia, we can explore the mythologies of Greece and Rome. Here, we do not find a figure explicitly named Lilith. However, the cultural landscape was populated with female entities who shared some striking thematic parallels. Figures like the sirens, with their enchanting but deadly songs, come to mind. The harpies, monstrous bird women who snatched food and people, also echo certain aspects. More directly, we see echoes in beings like Lamia or the Impusi, who embodied dangerous femininity and supernatural dread, reflecting similar societal anxieties. The story of Lamia is particularly resonant. According to Greek myth, Lamia was a beautiful Libyan queen. She became a lover of Zeus. Hera, Zeus's jealous wife, punished Lamia cruelly. Hera either killed Lamia's children or drove Lamia mad so that she killed them herself. Consumed by grief and rage, Lamia transformed into a monstrous, child-snatching demon. She preyed upon other women's children out of envy. This narrative shares clear parallels with aspects of Lilith's lore. The targeting of infants and the transformation into a fearsome, predatory female figure are significant common threads. Another set of figures from Greek mythology are the Empusae. These were demonic beings, often considered to be servants or daughters of Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft and crossroads. An Empusa was typically described as having one leg of bronze and another of a donkey. They were known for their ability to shapeshift, often appearing as beautiful women. Their aim was to seduce young men, particularly travelers. After luring them, the Empusa would feed on their flesh or blood. This theme of the seductive, life-draining female demon aligns closely with Talmudic descriptions of Lilith. While these Greek and Roman figures are distinct from Lilith, they illustrate a common pattern. The ancient Mediterranean world was rich with stories of dangerous female spirits. These beings often combined allure with deadly intent. They preyed on the vulnerable, particularly men and children. They embodied fears of the unknown, of uncontrolled feminine power, and of supernatural threats. This broader cultural context helped create an environment where tales of figures like Lilith could easily circulate. These shared anxieties about female demons resonated across different yet interconnected ancient cultures, enriching the pool of mythological ideas. The legend of Lilith, especially the compelling narrative from the alphabet of Ben Sira, did not remain confined to Jewish mystical circles. This story, portraying Lilith as Adam's defiant first wife, began to gain wider traction. It slowly seeped into the broader cultural consciousness of medieval Europe. Jewish communities, with their rich, folkloric and mystical traditions, existed within the larger European landscape. Through various points of cultural exchange, often subtle and complex, elements of Lilith's story began to permeate. Her tale of independence and exile found new, sometimes transformed expressions. In medieval European folklore, Lilith often became conflated with existing local beliefs about female demons and night spirits. Many European cultures had their own traditions of such beings. Figures like the succubus, a female demon believed to visit men in their sleep to seduce and drain them, share many similarities with certain aspects of Lilith. Night hags, blamed for nightmares and sleep paralysis, also resonate with Lilith's nocturnal activities and her association with terror. The powerful themes of dangerous feminine allure, nocturnal visitations, and spiritual peril found a ready counterpart in Lilith's evolving persona. The prevailing Christian theology of medieval Europe also played a significant role in shaping perceptions of Lilith. Any powerful, independent female figure operating outside the established religious and social norms was often viewed with suspicion. Such figures were frequently demonized. Lilith, with her backstory of rebellion against Adam, her association with the night, and her existing demonic connections in some Jewish texts, fit neatly into this framework. She could easily be cast as a servant of darkness, an embodiment of temptation, and a threat to Christian piety. This further solidified her image as a fearsome, malevolent entity. Thus, the medieval European understanding of Lilith became a rich tapestry woven from diverse threads. Her Mesopotamian origins as a night spirit, the echoes in Greco-Roman mythology, and the powerful Jewish folkloric traditions, particularly her role as Adam's first wife, all contributed. These elements merged with indigenous European beliefs about female demons and were further filtered through the lens of Christian demonology. The result was a multifaceted and frequently terrifying image of Lilith. This complex portrayal persisted through the medieval period, setting the stage for her later reinterpretations in modern times. Lilith is a strong symbol. She stands for fierce independence. This image comes from Ben Sira's tale. There she refused Adam's control. She demanded to be his equal. This was her firm belief. Her spirit would not bend. She would not break. She held true to herself. This path was her own. Her story begins with this powerful, unshakable stance. It defines her very essence in many interpretations. She wanted recognition not as a subordinate, but as a partner. People see this independence differently. Some call her a hero, a fighter for true freedom. Others say she was a rebel, a threat to divine order. Cultures perceive her in many ways. Her defiance makes us question. It challenges old ideas about power. It forces a re-evaluation of traditional roles. Was her demand for equality a righteous claim, or was it a dangerous disruption? These questions linger. Her actions invite diverse interpretations, reflecting our own values. Her symbol of independence is powerful. It often shines brighter than her dark side. This makes her more complex. She becomes relatable for many today. People see her struggle for self, her fight for her own identity. Her story still speaks to us. She remains a modern figure of sorts. This resonance comes from her core desire for autonomy, a desire that many understand deeply in the contemporary world. Her ancient plea for equality echoes still. Lilith chose exile. She would not submit. This choice showed her independence. She became a symbol for the outcast, for those who walk a lonely path, even if it brings isolation, or if others misunderstand them. Her journey shows courage. It speaks of inner strength. This decision to leave Eden rather than compromise her principles is central to her symbolic power. She represents the courage to forge one's own destiny, regardless of societal pressure or the comfort of conformity. As Section 2, the echo of rebellion, Lilith also symbolizes deep rebellion. Her defiance was not just against Adam. It challenged a higher divine order. She questioned the whole system. This was a radical act for her time. It shook early creation stories. Her rebellion was a clear challenge. She refused silent obedience. She demanded her own voice. This act of questioning authority is a recurring theme in human history. Lilith embodies one of its earliest, most potent mythical expressions. How is this rebellion understood? Views vary widely. Some see it as a just act, a stand against unfair power. Others view it as a grave error, a defiance of God's true will. Different cultures shape these views. The meaning of her rebellion is debated. It remains a topic of discussion. Is she a righteous freedom fighter, or a cautionary tale of prideful disobedience? The answer often depends on the perspective of the interpreter. Her story forces us to examine our own beliefs about authority. Her rebellion has broader meanings. It connects to challenging authority. It means questioning set norms. Lilith is an icon for many, especially for the marginalized, for those who feel like they are outsiders. Her story gives them strength. She represents the spirit of change. In this light, she is not merely a destructive force. She is a catalyst for re-evaluation, a figure who compels a critical look at established structures and beliefs. Rebellion often has a price. Lilith was demonized for hers. This is a common pattern in society. Those who challenge power are often punished. This is especially true for strong women. Lilith's tale can be a warning. It shows the cost of defiance. It highlights the risk of speaking out. Her transformation in law from a defiant woman to a fearsome demon illustrates how dissent can be reframed as monstrous by those who uphold the status quo. Section 3. Navigating the realm of shadows. Lilith symbolizes darkness, but this is complex. It is not simply about evil. She represents the unknown, the mysteries of our subconscious mind. She is our hidden shadow self. This darkness can lead to insight. It is a place for discovery. It is a part of being whole. To understand Lilith is to explore these often neglected aspects of existence. The shadow is not just negative. It holds untapped potential and hidden truths about ourselves and the world. Cultures see this darkness differently. Some traditions say it is purely bad, a source of great temptation, a path to spiritual danger. Other paths view it with new eyes as a font of hidden knowledge or a source of primal raw power. Beliefs deeply shape these views. For some, embracing the shadow, as Lilith did by choosing exile, is a necessary step towards wholeness. For others, it remains a perilous journey into forbidden territory. Her link to night is symbolic. Desolate places are her home. These are outside society's light. They are spaces for deep thought, for facing primal energies. Her wilderness is more than physical. It is a state of true being, a place of untamed, honest truth. The night and the wilderness are realms where conventional rules may not apply. They are where Lilith finds her freedom and her power, away from the judgments and constraints of the ordered world. Lilith's darkness invites us to look, to face hard, complex things within ourselves and in the wider universe. We must see what we often fear, what we tend to ignore. Understanding her shadows helps us. It brings a fuller view of life. It helps us to embrace all parts. By confronting the symbolism of Lilith's darkness, we can learn about resilience, about the hidden aspects of creation, and about the profound strength found in accepting the entirety of our being. Section 1A, the reimagined muse Lilith in modern literature and art. Lilith's ancient story has found a vibrant new life. She has made a significant comeback in many contemporary creative fields. She is no longer just an obscure name whispered in ancient texts. Modern creators find themselves deeply drawn to her complex and compelling persona. Her rich and varied history provides fertile ground for fresh interpretations and imaginative explorations. Artists and writers are actively reshaping her image. They are reintroducing her to new generations and entirely new audiences. Her ancient voice, once confined to old scrolls, now echoes through new and diverse mediums. Creative minds everywhere are truly captivated by her enduring, multifaceted enigma. In the realm of modern literature, Lilith has become a prominent figure. Numerous novelists, poets, and even playwrights have chosen to feature her in their works. She often appears not merely as a minor character, but as a central protagonist. Sometimes, literary portrayals cast her as a deeply tragic figure. She is misunderstood, unjustly exiled, and forced to bear a heavy burden. In other narratives, she emerges as a powerful, fiercely self-assured individual. She actively reclaims her own story, challenging the old, negative interpretations. Genres like fantasy, dark romance, historical fiction, and contemporary horror often embrace her. Her literary manifestations are as diverse and varied as her ancient myths. The visual arts have also passionately embraced Lilith. Painters, sculptors, illustrators, and digital artists frequently draw inspiration from her potent image. Her depictions are often strikingly beautiful and intensely powerful. Common themes explored include her wild, untamed nature, her profound sensuality, and her dark, mysterious beauty. Artists often emphasize her defiant strength and unwavering independence. She might be shown with magnificent wings, symbolizing her freedom, or perhaps she is set against desolate, brooding landscapes, her chosen domain. Sometimes she's portrayed as a formidable sorceress, wielding arcane powers. The colors used are often rich and deeply symbolic, such as intense reds, deep blacks, and mystical purples. Why do contemporary artists and writers find Lilith so irresistibly compelling? A major factor is undoubtedly her inherent ambiguity. She is not a character who can be easily defined or neatly categorized. This very elusiveness allows for an almost endless spectrum of creative exploration. Her ancient story touches upon timeless and universal themes. These include the quest for personal freedom, the struggle against oppression, and the complex nature of good and evil. She serves as a powerful metaphor for the shadow self, for untamed feminine power, and for the silenced voice. Her myth provides a unique lens through which to critique patriarchal structures, using a historical figure who feels ever relevant. Contemporary feminist thought has warmly and enthusiastically embraced the figure of Lilith. Her story, especially the compelling narrative found in the alphabet of Ben Sira, strongly resonates with feminist ideals. Many feminists see her as a potent and inspiring symbol of female resistance and autonomy. She represents a courageous challenge to the deeply entrenched patriarchal narratives that are present in numerous cultural and religious traditions. Her tale offers a powerful and refreshing alternative to more submissive or dependent female archetypes. Consequently, she is often viewed as a proto-feminist figure, a woman far ahead of her historical time. Her ancient cry for true equality echoes modern feminist goals. Lilith stands as a formidable symbol of radical independence and complete self-sovereignty. Her defiant refusal to be subservient to Adam is the cornerstone of this interpretation. She clearly valued her own equality and intrinsic worth more than the promised comforts of the Garden of Eden. This deliberate choice represents a profound and courageous act of self-assertion. She embodies the spirit of the woman who will not, under any circumstances, compromise her core identity or principles. Her departure from paradise is therefore seen not as a tragic fall from grace. Instead, it is celebrated as a heroic flight towards ultimate freedom and self-ownership. This narrative profoundly empowers those seeking autonomy. Furthermore, Lilith plays a crucial role in the feminist reclaiming of female sexuality and agency. Throughout much of history, powerful female sexuality has often been unfairly demonized or suppressed. Lilith's story, when read through a feminist lens, powerfully reclaims this vital aspect of female identity. She is portrayed as unapologetically in touch with her own desires and her inherent personal power. She steadfastly refuses to allow her sexuality to be controlled, defined, or shamed by another, not even by Adam. This makes her a potent and liberating symbol for sexual freedom and expression. She embodies a feminine force that is both immensely creative and potentially wonderfully disruptive. Lilith provides a vital and empowering counter-narrative within many traditional frameworks. She directly challenges the conventional figure of Eve, who is often and perhaps unfairly portrayed as responsible for humanity's fall. In stark contrast, Lilith offers a compelling story of inherent strength, not of weakness or transgression. She is a figure of conscious choice and decisive action, not one of temptation leading to a collective downfall. For many individuals, especially women, she represents the long, silenced voice of those who have been marginalized. Her story is fundamentally one of empowerment. It encourages women to define themselves on their own terms, validating those outside traditional roles. One of the primary reasons for Lilith's enduring relevance is her profoundly multifaceted nature. She is not a simple one-dimensional character by any means. To some, she remains a fearsome demon. To others, she is a powerful goddess. She is seen as a rebel, a victim, a potent sorceress, and the very first woman. This inherent complexity prevents her from ever becoming a static, outdated, or easily dismissed figure. Each different aspect of her persona offers unique points of connection for different people across various cultures. Her rich story can be interpreted and understood on multiple levels: personal, social, political, and deeply spiritual. This inherent richness keeps her perpetually intriguing. Lilith's ancient story connects remarkably well with many contemporary societal trends and concerns. We currently live in an era that increasingly questions long-established norms and traditions. Traditional power structures, in particular, are being subjected to intense re-examination and critique. Lilith, as an ancient and formidable questioner of authority, fits perfectly within this modern zeitgeist. Her bold demand for equality with Adam and her subsequent choice of independence over submission resonate deeply today. She speaks directly to modern desires for greater authenticity, profound self-determination, and genuine personal freedom. Her courageous defiance of patriarchal control feels particularly relevant in ongoing global discussions. Moreover, Lilith serves as a powerful symbol for understanding the concept of the shadow self. The psychologist Carl Jung introduced this idea of the shadow. It represents the parts of ourselves that are often repressed, denied, or hidden from view. These can include aspects of our innate power, our untamed sexuality, our righteous anger, or our nonconformist tendencies. Engaging with Lilith's story can be a profound way to confront these hidden parts of our own psyche. This exploration can lead to greater self-awareness, deeper understanding, and ultimately psychological integration. She gently encourages us to embrace our full, complex humanity, acknowledging both our light and our shadows. In conclusion, Lilith's story is not a relic of the past. It is a living narrative that continues to evolve. Each new generation that encounters her ancient legend finds fresh meaning and renewed relevance within it. She acts as a kind of cultural mirror, reflecting our own societal anxieties, our deepest aspirations, and our ongoing struggles. Her persistent enigma ensures that she will not be easily forgotten or neatly filed away. Lilith's enduring presence in our collective cultural imagination speaks volumes about her profound archetypal power. She remains a compelling, provocative, and inspiring figure who consistently challenges us to think, to question, and to grow. Our journey through the many tales of Lilith now draws to a close. We have ventured far from ancient dust to modern minds. We began with whispers of an enigmatic figure, shrouded in deep mystery. Her story, we discovered, is not a single, simple thread. It is a vast and intricate tapestry woven with diverse colors and textures. It starts with a solitary, fleeting mention in the Hebrew Bible, a mere whisper in a prophetic vision of desolate lands. Yet, from this tiny seed, a mighty and complex legend has undeniably grown. Lilith is so much more than one line in an ancient book. She is a universe of stories. We have seen how Lilith's character evolved dramatically beyond that single scriptural reference. In the Talmud, she often appeared as a fearsome night demon, a being of darkness, associated with peril and ancient dread. This portrayal painted her as a threat to the vulnerable, yet a striking counter-narrative emerged, most notably in the alphabet of Ben Sira. Here, Lilith was Adam's defiant first wife, a woman created as his equal who bravely chose exile over subjugation. This added profound layers of rebellion and fierce independence to her complex persona. These contrasting tales demonstrate her remarkable capacity to embody different meanings. Her echoes resonate even beyond these specific texts. We traced her ancient roots back to Mesopotamian spirits of the night. Figures like the Lilitu and Lamashtu shared her shadowy domain. They also foreshadowed her association with wildness and danger. We even found thematic parallels in the rich mythologies of Greece and Rome. There, figures like Lamia and the Impusae reflected similar anxieties about potent, untamed feminine power. These connections show a widespread human fascination with such powerful, often feared female entities. Lilith is part of a larger ancient family of compelling mythological beings, each reflecting unique cultural concerns. Through these many stories, Lilith has come to symbolize powerful concepts. Her spirit of unyielding independence is perhaps her most recognized attribute today. She also embodies the very essence of rebellion against unjust authority. The theme of darkness associated with her is equally complex. It points not just to evil, but to the unknown, the subconscious, and the shadow self. These symbols are not fixed, they are fluid and open to diverse interpretations. This multifaceted nature is her great strength. Lilith is not one single idea, but a constellation of challenging and inspiring possibilities. She remains a figure of many faces. Why does Lilith, an ancient figure, continue to hold such sway over us today? Her enduring significance is truly remarkable. It stems from her incredible adaptability, her capacity to evolve. She reflects our changing societal views and deep-seated concerns. As we saw, contemporary culture has eagerly embraced her. She thrives in modern literature, art, and especially within feminist thought. Her story is constantly being reinterpreted, reimagined for new times. She is not a static relic of a distant, forgotten past. Instead, Lilith remains a living, breathing presence in our collective imagination, speaking to current generations with surprising clarity. Her ancient tale resonates powerfully with modern discussions about power and true equality. Her defiant stand for self-worth, her courageous demand to be treated as an equal, feels incredibly current. These themes are at the very heart of many contemporary social and political movements. Lilith's voice, though originating from ancient lore, speaks directly to our ongoing struggles for personal freedom and autonomy. She encourages us to question established hierarchies. She inspires us to challenge narratives that seek to limit or define us without our consent. Her story validates the pursuit of one's own truth, even against overwhelming odds. Lilith's enduring power also lies in her role as a challenger of conventional narratives. She consistently forces us to look beyond the surface, beyond the accepted story. She compels us to reconsider what we have been told about history, about myth, and about ourselves. She represents the other perspective, the voice that has often been silenced or marginalized. By engaging with her story, we are encouraged to seek out these hidden narratives. We learn to appreciate the complexities and contradictions inherent in all tales. She teaches us that there is often more to the story than meets the eye, a deeper truth waiting to be uncovered. In the end, Lilith remains a profound and enduring enigma. Her full truth may always elude our complete grasp, and perhaps that is precisely where her lasting power lies. She is a figure of mystery, a wellspring of endless fascination. Her story is not truly finished. It continues to unfold with each new interpretation. It evolves with every individual who encounters her legend and finds personal meaning within it. Lilith's echo will likely resound for generations yet to come. She remains a potent symbol, a timeless question mark, forever inviting us to explore the shadows and the light within ourselves and our world.